Well, as you were saying, this started as a protest against the rise in diesel tax, which is due to come in on the 1st of January. But it's become a trigger for protests about all sorts of issues around the cost of living. People we've been talking to today say that they are taxed too highly in general and that they are unable to get to the ends of the months. Now, the movement was organised spontaneously on social media. It doesn't have any concrete leaders. Some political parties on both the far left and the far right, including some unions also, have tried to take credit for part of the organisation. They've tried to attach themselves to the movement since it became popular and mobilised thousands of people across France. But it remains essentially leaderless and disorganised. 8 people were nominated as spokespeople earlier in the week, but not all of the Yellow Vest protesters recognise their legitimacy. And as you were saying, we saw the drawbacks of that lack of organisation yesterday when the Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, invited them to his office to discuss the issues that they're complaining about, people's lack of spending power, and only 2 people turned up, and many in the Yellow Vest movement felt that those people didn't speak for them anyway. So the government is now trying to show that it's trying to talk to these people, that it's trying to listen, but it's hard for them to know who to talk to.
And Elena, we're looking at these pictures there with the Arc de Triomphe, and we've seen the clashes there. That looks more like a war zone than a place that's supposed to be full of tourists normally. And these clashes have spread to other parts of France. Tell us what's happening there on the streets of Paris where you are and in other parts of the country.
Well, I'm on an avenue leading up to the Arc de Triomphe, which is a few hundred metres behind me. You can probably see clouds of tear gas rising in that direction. This morning, the police have been taking no chances at all. They've mobilised about 5,000 officers, which is more than there are protesters. According to the Interior Minister, there are only about 1,700 protesters on the Champs-Élysées this morning. The official protest, though, hasn't even started yet, so those numbers may well grow later in the day. At least a dozen people have been hospitalised. That's after the police used high-powered water cannons, fired rubber bullets and have used tear gas numerous times on the Champs-Élysées and around the Arc de Triomphe this morning. So it is a very heavy-handed response from police. Some protesters also are fighting back and have clearly turned up, spoiling for a fight, really. But that is a small hardcore, and it's important to bear in mind that this protest movement has mobilised hundreds of thousands of people across France who are not in any way violent.
Elena, thank you very much for the moment. That's Elena Casas keeping across the Yellow Vest movement taking place in Paris.